Hang on. Uh, I'm, I mucked that up. Hang on. No, it's not going to work. Yama, everyone. I'm Luna. This is Jules. This is Gday. Welcome to Gday. G'day. It's Saturday. We're not going to find anything. Here we are. Look, get it right. I was supposed to do that. I was supposed to start like
You're a
that.
Nephilim.
Anyway, welcome to G'day. G'day. It's Saturday. We got some fun stuff for you today, but before we get into that, I can hear a knock at the door, and we better get to it, Jules. We've got someone straight away. Hey, it's Polly. G'day, Polly.
G'day. How you going?
I'm
Happy
good.
almost Saturday.
Good, and
Hey,
guess
you got
what?
a
We're all
green
still
screen.
here. Kinda, yeah. This is a mountain.
You got a new toy.
This is from up the mountains, a cave up the mountains. So I found a picture of it, so I thought I'd put it behind me.
I like it.
It's an actual real cave, yeah. And you can go up the mountains and see this cave. I got a thing about
It
caves.
must
I
be
love
weird
caves.
looking at yourself with the background and then you turn around and it's not there.
Yeah, disappointing. Maybe I should go up there if I could get Wi-Fi up in the middle of the bush, and we could do it. So welcome. Well, this week, what have we got? Hey, all right. Wait a minute. Do you like our little banner there? We love you, Joe. Before we'd surprise you. All right. Here we are. So what have we got this week? We got a special guest coming this week. A little bit later, soon. And where are we? We got emu wars. There's actually a war against emus. We're going to take a look at that. And we're going to have a look at Aboriginal astronomy, star constellations, whatever you want to call it. The big emu in the sky, that's what we call it. So I've got that. And I've got a few other things coming, but we'll see how we go for time this week. Beautiful things as well. And we've got the word of the week, which is a very interesting one, Polly. I'll send it to you. It surprised us. So, yeah, what do we do?
Where did you send it?
Where can I send it? In your ears, no. In the private chat on the screen. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah, okay.
And our word was, hang on, I remember what it was. I've had an interesting day. Oh yeah, in the week, how I reckon it was kind of a productive week we had this week, and then it kind of went up and down for a few days, and then it went productive again. I don't know about everyone else, but that's what I feel.
Mhm.
All right, word of the week. I'll just send this to Polly. Excuse me.
So, Polly, I see you survived the apocalypse eclipse.
Oh yeah. Yeah, McDonald's had a sandwich out actually for the eclipse. It was called the Nothing Burger.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, but nobody heard of it. And all it is 2 pieces of bread with nothing in it. Kind of like the eclipse.
I don't know. I mean, after the eclipse, and it's probably just mere coincidence. That night rolled through. There was an earthquake that the center was about 5 miles from my house, and it was so small. I slept through it. The cats, they slept through it too.
Usually, if I don't know about earthquakes, but if I'm gonna feel one, the earth better move.
Well, all I know is that at our end, nothing much happened. You could feel spiritual stuff in the air. And it was really funny because a lot of people that I spoke to of all different beliefs and stuff, they all found themselves praying for us. We're all praying for the world. And then when it was finished, we all felt this great relief. So I don't know what that was about. That's
I definitely felt some spiritual energy with it too. And some of my friends as well.
So it was interesting. But yeah, we're all still here. Nothing's happened. We're still here. Everything's running the way it was the other day.
It was even cloudy where I was, so I didn't even get to see it.
Oh, yeah, that usually happens. Yeah.
I worked a half a day. I came home. I took a nap. And I was like, am I going to walk to the park to see this? So, and I saw the sun. So I went to the kitchen. I grabbed a cup of coffee. I stepped out on my terrace, and I was able to watch it without even leaving home. And we didn't have full, complete 100% blackout. We had 85%. But with that 85%, I mean, I had never experienced a solar eclipse, or at least that I remember. But I was able to experience when the sun gets dark and how, I mean, it very fast. It got cold. It got dark. No birds were chirping. No bees were buzzing. It was that stillness. And in that moment, I appreciated the sun because I could only imagine what it would be like to live without a sun, because that darkness, that cold, and not having that for just that short amount of time affected things like that. Can you imagine that on like a broad scale?
I don't want to imagine that. That's I hate the cold, you know that. I'm having trouble already, and we only just started autumn.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Well, we had a blackout last night while everyone was sleeping. I don't know why or how long it lasted. Obviously, well, someone was awake and they left a message on the fridge that said we had a blackout last night. I'm like, okay. So yeah, it's happening. Little things are happening. But like I said, we're all still here. Nothing major. Yeah. All right, so let's get into it, eh? Like we normally do. You want to hear about the emu wars and how the army tried to fight the emus and they lost?
I hope the emus are winning. I really hope.
They did win.
They probably are.
That was, I mean, Luna briefly told me about this earlier tonight, and she worded it eloquently, because when I heard her, it was like, the emus battled the crocs and they won?
I didn't say crops.
It was crops.
Crops.
That's what I heard. I heard crocs.
Crops. That's funny, man. How many times have I said something people have thought I said something else? That's all right, though. It's got to be funny. All right.
No, that's just me automatically thinking croc, because it's like, well,
Yeah.
Alligator is America. It's the crocodile.
The crocs are gonna get you. No. All right. So for everyone, oh, where am I? Press the wrong button. This is what an emu looks like. It's a big flightless bird, and they're actually quite beautiful. And I can actually make their sound. I'm going to try and make the sound for you. Hang on. And I'll just go off camera so I don't laugh. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I know why you went off camera now.
Yeah.
All right, so there's the emu. Now
They look like dinosaurs.
Yeah, kind of. Imagine when they were bigger, because remember everything used to be a lot bigger here. They would have walked along the bush and just went peck, 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 and ate you. So for us, Indigenous people, Australian people, emus are special in my mob anyway. The name we use for emu is Dinawan. And it's kind of funny because when you eat them, Dinawan, you know. No, anyway, so we call them Dinawan. And how we know when our traditional foods, how we know it's time to collect emu eggs for food is that a flower comes out at that certain time of year, and when that flower comes out, that tells you it's time to collect the emu eggs. Not only that, we look in the sky, and it tells us the time for eating and stuff like that, and the emu are also in the sky. Each mob has a different stories and different slightly meanings for emus and different names for emus, but this is what ours is. It's dinner one. And like I said, time to collect the eggs. You wait for the little flower, and when the flower comes out, you know it's time. And that flower also is medicine, so you know it's time for that. With the emu too, it's one of the rare birds that the mother lays the eggs and the father sits on the eggs. It's like the penguins. The father looks after the eggs until they're ready to hatch, and then they run around after daddy, and they're really cool if you see them all. The babies run around after the big one all over, and they follow dad and learn how to survive, and then mum comes back later. But mum brings dad food and stuff like that while he's sitting on the eggs, and then it starts all over again. So we call, you know how some women when they're mums they go out a lot and they get their kids babysit because that's their nature. We call them emu women, and that's the story because the men look after the babies. So that's what an emu looks like. Oh, we also make traditional clothing out of their feathers and stuff. We use their feathers in special ways, so they're really sacred to us. There's one in running, and they run super, super fast, man. They run so fast, it's not funny. And they're actually quite nice birds. I've been up close and people have gone, oh, aren't you afraid of them? They're going to pick your eye out. And I'm like, no, I wouldn't be that close. And there's a bit of what they look like running around. And here's a picture in the masses. And this is the emu war time. And they tried to got them. Yeah, I'll read it to you anyway.
Is that like a flock of emu?
Actually, I don't know what the meaning of, I don't know in English what it is. Oh, look, we got there's someone at the door. Hang on a minute. Hey, John. Hey, John. You're muted, bro.
Hello.
Hey, John. This is John. You've got a bit of an echo back here, John.
Oh, I've got an echo.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know how to solve this. Have you got anything? Anyway, sorry everyone. This is John. And he's come to help us out with a bit of a yarn. What we're doing here. John, this is Polly.
Nice to meet you.
This is Jules. John, this is our Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've met you before online with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
Am
done
I
the
still?
listening.
Am I
Oh,
still
That's still
echoing?
happy to see you.
Yeah, thank you. Nice to see you. Am I still echoing?
yeah,
Oh,
no.
okay.
Yes. No.
Mm.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
No, I think it sounds good.
It's gone.
I think so.
Hello, testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
Testing.
it's gone.
Emu. Okay.
Holly,
Whoops.
Jules, can you?
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
No, it's still there.
I still hear echo.
We'll sort it out.
Do you have YouTube open, John?
No. No, I don't.
Are your speakers turned up really loud?
Yes.
Turn them down a little bit.
Whoops.
Thank you.
Is that better?
It
Yeah,
might be.
Testing
Well,
1, 2,
the echo
3.
is definitely not as loud.
Oh, sorry. I'm not sure what to do.
That's all right. You can handle it.
Yeah, those echo things are hard to figure out sometimes.
Echo, okay. You've taken Donnie's place. Normally when Donnie comes, he always echoes.
He passed the echo spirit on.
He did.
Is that better? Testing 1, 2, 3.
Your voice isn't the one that echoes. It's our voices that echoes.
Oh,
Where's the
okay.
echo? Oh, you're the echoing.
Yeah, exactly. But that's a good one. You're gonna have to write that one down, Luna.
All right, that sounds better. Yeah, John. So, all right, everyone, when John speaks, we'll all be quiet. And then, yeah, that's the way
Yeah,
we'll do
that's
it.
the easy solution. Just stay muted until you need to say something, and then we'll all shut up.
Yeah, that's good. All right, then. All right, so we're getting the Emu Wars. So I think you saw that, John. We're just telling everyone what the Emu was about and stuff like that. Did you want to say anything more on the Emu before we go to the article on the Emu Wars? And do you know anything about the Emu Wars?
Not a lot, but I know that the emu for us is a very important animal. It's a very important clan totem as well, and a lot of our stories are related to the emu because the emu is such an important animal in the ecosystem. It's a species which is a foundational, pillar in the ecosystem, keystone species, and very important in our culture.
Okay, yep. And I'll just explain a little bit of how of that we make clothes and stuff like that. So, all right, we'll move on to the emu war. So now you know what an emu looks like, and they run fast and everything. That's an important thing because that's made their survival. I just got to share my screen. Hang on. Share screen. Still getting used to all this. All right. So I had 2 articles, but this one sounded more interesting by the way it read. And I won't show you the article. I'll just read it out for you. So, all right, in 1932, Australian troops were dumbfounded when they found themselves outmaneuvered by clever birds during the Emu Wars. Early on the morning of the 2nd of November 1932, I should just put an emu up, hang on. Where was it? 1932, the 7th Heavy Battery of the Royal Australian Artillery aligned at Campion, Western Australia. And Malia's not here. She's my narrator, by the way, and she's out having fun at the moment. So you got to put up with me. On a hot red dirt landscape about halfway between Perth and Kalgoorlie, there they unpacked 2 Lewis automatic machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. The unit intention to open hostilities with the emus of Western Australia. I just want to laugh. That were moving in from Central Australia in search of water, and having stumbled on the region's delicious wheat district, had begun to ravage crops. No sooner had the unit arrived than a flock of 50 emus were sighted. The company's commander, Major G.P.W. Meredith, immediately ordered his troops to circle the birds and chase them into range of guns. By the day's end, only a dozen birds out of the thousands the men had shot were dead. Nevertheless, first blood had been drawn in Australia's emu wars. Poor emus. It all came about in late 1932 after a marauding emu population of at least 20,000 had been devastating farms across Western Australia for some time. The farmers under attack, many of them ex-soldiers themselves, had eventually petitioned for military aid from the Minister of Defence, George Pearce. He deployed troops swiftly and they arrived with hopes of a quick victory and a few emu feathers for their hat. Never underestimate an Aussie. Anyway, no sooner had the conflict begun, however, that it became clear that the Australian military had vastly underestimated the emu. Cunning adversaries, the emus proved almost impossible to hit with machine gun fire, and they seemed able to shrug off even serious injuries from bullets without breaking stride. Describing the emus, Major Meredith later said, "If we had a military division with the bullet-carrying capacity of these birds, it would face any army in the world. They can face machine guns with the invulnerability of tanks." A few days into operations, don't you find that funny, John? In a few days of operations, a planned ambush by a dam failed miserably when one of the Lewis guns jammed. A later attempt to mount a machine gun on a truck fell apart when it was made apparent that the vehicle could not keep up with the birds. Within a week of first contact, the troops were recalled. Roughly 2,500 rounds had been fired and killed somewhere between 50 to 200 emus. Meredith did note that his men had suffered no casualties. When the question was raised if a medal would be struck for the conflict.
No casualties, yeah.
Oh, sorry. All right, parliamentarian A.E. Green replied that any medal should go to the emu who had won every round so far. Go the emus. All right, who run the round so far. For his involvement in the deployment, Defence Minister George Pearce and the unofficial title Minister of the Emu War, they would have been embarrassing. All right, we're nearly finished. Although a second, slightly more successful military operation was mounted against the emus only a few days after the initial retreat in November 1932. In the end, it was the the boundary of, it's a big word. Instituting of a bounty on emus that proved more effective. Okay, so they put a bounty on the emu so anyone could kill them, unfortunately. It proved most effective between 1945 and 1960, around 2,800, and there was more than that. I can't read that number, it's too big. Emus were killed in Western Australia. Unfortunately, they were all killed. All right, so that's that. But I found it really funny. They put up a good fight.
And we did learn it is a flock of emu.
It is a flock of emus, yes.
They have farms where I live.
Flocking emus.
There's literally farms in Canada that farm emu for just the meat.
And
Yeah.
it looks like that flock of emus is running.
Yes, they do look like they're running, But you can't keep a good emu down; they'll be coming back. Yeah.
That was a 80s reference going. A flock of emus, and I ran.
A flock of emus. The Australian version of a flock of seagulls. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So, all right. John, do you want to add anything to that, bro?
Just that it's quite upsetting and sad. But it just makes me sad to hear that. I mean, the emu's been here for a long, long time, and it's got its place in the circle. It's people that have lost their place in the circle. They lost their way. So the solution for them is just kill things. It's just that colonial way of thinking. They don't understand this land.
Yeah, I understand that, John. It is a sad thing, and I found out more sad things, but I'm not going to tell you because it's sad. But the emu, that guy was laughing. They did make a really good fight. You've got to say that. I think they might have fought better than us. All right, so we're going to move on to the next thing, and that is, I've just got to find my slides. We're going to have a look at our star constellations because we got the emu in the sky. I'll just clear my board. Hang on. Oh, what's this? No, we don't want that. Get rid of that. Stop sharing. I want my slides. That's what I need. Emu in the sky. That's what we're looking for. All right. So how are we going to do this? Because we got an echo and we're thinking about donning while that's happening. I'm going to show some slides and I'm going to let Brother John talk, and when he goes quiet we can jump in. So basically, like I said, here in Australia, when we look up at the sky, we don't see what you fellas see in the Northern Hemisphere. We see emus and eagles and things like that in our sky, and they've all got stories attached to them.
So you don't see a upside down Big Dipper?
No, we don't. It's not upside down to us. The emu's not upside down. Do you see an upside down emu is what I should be asking?
Maybe.
Well, let's have a look, eh? We'll have a look. All right. So, wait, hang on. Oh, get rid of this. Bang. There's the emu. I've got a couple of pictures to show you. Then I'll go back on the pictures, and then I'm going to let Brother John here have a yarn because he can articulate it better than I can.
It looks like what we would call the Milky Way.
Yeah. Does you see it in? Sorry, go John.
Yeah, it is the Milky Way. So it's the Milky Way from the southern perspective.
That's cool.
So what we're looking at here is the emu in the sky, and on the ground is a carving of the emu. See? That's the place where you go stand to look at it. That's what it's saying. So, all right, I'm going to shut up now and let John.
No, I mean it's super cool, but for the comedian in me would call that the rubber chicken constellation.
So, like I said, we got different mobs have little different stories, and these are some pictures. I don't know if you recognise any of these pictures, John, but I just tried to get a variety of pictures so then mob can understand what we're looking at down here and how we see the stars here. We don't have the 12, Leo, Aquarius and all that. We don't have that. We have these. So Feel free to jump in, John.
Yeah, so there's two ways of looking at the emu in the sky. One is that the emu takes up the whole part of the Milky Way from the top, as you can see where his beak is, all the way to the bottom of the tail. That's one part. That's one mob. Some of the like First Nations tribal mobs, they see it that way, and then other mobs see it that there's the top of the emu in the Southern Cross, which they call the coal sack, is the emu. So our people, Gumra and Radri people, they see that the emu is actually only in the top part. So where the head is, so I might show you, if I've got a photo. I can't sort of show you this photo, but anyway.
I can share stuff. If you share your screen,
Okay, I'll try. So I'll give you a picture here. Did you see that?
you got to press square then, and share your screen, and then I can share it. There's a little thing that says present next to settings down the bottom there.
Oh, I thought that said present.
Oh, and you thought you were going to be present all this time, Polly.
Yeah.
And you never got nothing. How disappointed you must feel. Oh,
That's
there
why
it is.
I never click it anymore.
We can see it now, John. You've got to unmute yourself.
Oops. So if you can see here the top of the emu, the top part. So this you can, I don't know if you can see that it says Milky Way Galactic Core. So that's the heading, and then on the top right hand side you see like the head of the emu, when you see the emu as being the whole part of the Milky Way. So the head of the emu for us, for our people, is actually the emu. So you can see that the beak is actually the head, and the rest of the body is the emu. And that is the emu in the sky for our people, whereas some people see the emu in the sky as the whole entire part of the Milky Way. So did you guys see that?
Yeah, we did.
I have a question though. So if you're meant to see different parts of the sky than I am, because I'm in Canada, which is pretty much the opposite side of the world, but we can see the galactic center from Canada. The galactic core. I'm assuming that's what that means. So how does that work?
I think because of the horizon, depending on where the horizon is. So because you're at a different angle looking at the sky, you don't see the same as what we see.
But what I'm looking at looks identical to the Milky Way. Like, and when that last photograph you had, it said that that's the galactic core. We can see that same part of the Milky Way from Canada.
Yeah, I'm not sure, because I don't think you guys see the Southern Cross, because only those.
No, we
Southern
don't.
Hemisphere.
No, we definitely don't see the Southern Cross.
But you do see the coal sack, right?
Yeah, the Milky Way goes across the whole entire northern hemisphere, from what I can remember seeing.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple of times, and I'm same time zone. I'm just a little more south.
Yeah, so the coal sack for us is the emu in the sky, and the story is the land and the sky mirror each other. So the emu in the sky and the emu on the land are the same. So when that spirit emu, when the night sky turns with the celestial seasons. The seasons will match that cycling of the stars. So what happens is we look at the stars and we look at the land, and that tells us when to collect emu eggs and when not to collect emu eggs, and when we can, what animal we can hunt and when, what gender, because the female lays the eggs and then the male looks after the clutch and the babies. So once the celestial sky turns in a certain way, that emu, which I showed you, which is the head of a huge emu, will point to the ground. And when that points to the ground, because the celestial sky is moving, it means that the male emu is actually got his head down on top of the clutch of eggs. So we don't hunt the male. But so the celestial stars tell us when we can and when we can't hunt, and when we can collect emu eggs and when we can't. And that's because that emu is so revered as an important keystone species that we have to look after that animal, and all the living things that live in the same ecosystem depend and are connected to the emu. And those people who have the clan totem of the emu, they're really important guardians for that emu. So if they see anyone disrespecting that cycle, they'll step up as guardians because that's their clan ancestor. But in general, everyone in society respects them laws, so anyone seeing them people disrespect that law of collecting the emu eggs and hunting the emu, they'll be in trouble. So they'll get they'll get in trouble by the elders. And even with what you can't eat, there's certain ages in our community, so elders will eat, for instance, eggs up until a certain time. Youth aren't allowed to eat eggs until they get into their teens, and same as emu meat.
Why is that?
The reason why they have food restrictions is because of cultural beliefs, but also because the nature of the meat and the eggs for young people and for old people, depending on people's age and their needs, their nutrient needs and their metabolic system and the way their body reacts to that food, the restriction applies to support their health. Because if you eat it it's quite rich. Emu eggs are quite rich, and so is the meat.
Okay, so what I got from that was that you're at a certain age, like younger or older, your body's probably not capable of metabolizing the richness of the meat or the eggs. Is that correct?
Yes, and it's similar to foods today. So, for instance, as you get older, like sugars are really bad for us. When you're a kid, you can eat sugar without, and there's not too much of a problem. But when you get older, sugar can be quite dangerous, especially diabetes and stuff like that.
I just think it's so cool that when the emu points its beak down to the ground, that's when you know not to hunt males. I mean, that's fascinating because there's so many other ancient hunting traditions which rely on similar symbols not the emu, but similar. They look at the sky. The sky mirrors the ground. It happens all over the world. It's fascinating to me.
Yeah, and the other thing is those symbols in the sky are also supported by signs on the country. So we have a particular tree. It's an acacia tree. We call it wattle tree. It's called gijir in our language. And when that flowers, that's also indicates a time when you can and you can't take emu eggs and the birds. So in the front part of the season, usually of laying, it's restricted. So it gives the early layers time to bring their clutches up and start to mature. The babies start to mature. And then after a certain period, then the doors open for people to collect eggs as they're laid. And that makes sure that people don't over harvest eggs or hunt the male. So there's all these different rules that protect that animal and also support the community's sustainable use of the resources we have in our world.
What are the natural predators of emus? Like I can imagine there's probably a lot more predators for the baby ones, the ones that aren't fully grown. But I mean, I can't really think of an animal in Australia that could take down a fully grown emu other than a croc.
Yeah, so when they're young, and you'll get goannas. Goannas, the monitor lizards can take youngs. Also eagles and birds of prey. And then when they're a little bit older, dingoes or Australian wolves will take down emus. But I think the biggest predator was human beings.
So no, well, I don't know. Do you classify human beings as a natural predator?
We see human beings as a part of the circle of life, so we don't see ourselves as separate to other living things. Everything in the circle, in that kinship system, is a part of one big cycle of life.
I like that.
Thanks. That's really good information. Thanks, Tom. And we've got here our Ken, he's Aussie as well. He saw emu the other day with 4 babies running around. Like I was saying, they run. It's so cute. I didn't get a little video of that. Okay, as we were saying, mine and John's my brother, obviously. Our mob has that story. Other mobs have different stories, and some of the pictures that I showed you are from other mobs. I'll just find one correlating. So there's crocodile in the sky. We haven't got crocodile here. They live up top. It's too cold here. So, but when listening to the story that John told you, you can look at other mobs and what they see in the sky, and they'd have similar things. They'd be looking at the sky for the same reasons as we did. For, is it time to do this? Is it time to do that? And they have their own stories. I'm just trying to find. I've got a story of that one. This one here. This one here. This is from the North West Victoria mob, the Burong area. And what they see, I'll just read a little bit of what they see in their sky, like in their mob, according to their totems and stuff. So first we have Bunya, the possum, and the language is different too, remember? So I only know one word for emu. John might know maybe a couple of more, but I only know our mob's word for emu. Dinner one. All right, so Bunya, the possum, can be seen in the constellations known to you fellas as the Southern Cross. The tip of the Southern Cross is the nose of the possum, and his tail hangs down to the left. Bunya ran away from Tichingal, the emu, and hid in a tree for so long that he turned into a possum. So these are some of the stories. And then we have Warrapul, the brightest star in the night sky, is called Sirius, and it is the centre of one of the most important Burong constellations. Warrapul is the male wedge-tailed eagle and chief of the Narambongut, probably butchered that, chief of their mob. Elders who created the land. The wings of Warrapul spread to either side of Sirius across less bright stars. The wedge-tailed eagle is an important figure right across Australia. For example, the Boon Warrung and the Wurundjeri in the Melbourne area connect with the eagle. That's down south from us. We're Sydney area. All right. Where are we? Bunjil, the star at Altair, which coincidentally is the brightest star in the Greek constellation of Aquila and the Eagle. Bunjil, who has 2 wives in the form of black swans, which are the stars Tars. Oh, this is your mob's language, and I can't even read that. Tarazad and Al Shane, the site either side of Altar. Anyway, so you get the gist of it. They're from the mob down south. and that's their story. Then we have another one. Well, that's some of their stories. Where's that other one I saw? With the three brothers in the sky. Here it is. So this one is the Yolongal people. They're more in the desert area. And this is what they see up there also. And their story goes, what have we got? Walu, the sun, is a woman who lights her fire every morning and scatters red ochre across the clouds, creating dawn. She then carries her torch across the sky, creating daylight. At the end of the day, she descends, puts out her fire, and travels underground through the night back to her morning camp. Where was the one there? Three brothers in a canoe. That's what I'm looking for.
That woman's story is about the sun is the same for our mob. Similar one.
Similar story, yeah. And that's what you find. Then the stories aren't totally different. They're similar. It's like we've got the similar song all the way around, where everyone just sings it a little bit different, but it's a similar song. So yeah, so that one there is three brothers in the sky and in a canoe. So yeah, there you go, fellas. And John, do you want to add anything to this?
I think as a comparison, like in North America, there's a lot of different First Nation mobs, groups. It's the same as Australia. We've got many different nations in the continent, and from one part of the North America to the other, you'll have different stories, and then you'll have some that are similar. And depending on what the environment is, you might have things that are really, really close, and then things that are really different. So species, for instance, a buffalo, people may have similar stories and connecting stories and intertribal connections, and same for us with the emu. So no matter where Indigenous people are, we as human beings have that connection to the natural world, and that's really important for us all to remember, that we're connected and we're in kinship with all living things. And our ancestors knew that, and that our ancestors are within us and they speak to us, and we just got to remember that to look after country is looking after each other and looking after community. It's all in a big balance.
Yeah, thank you, John, for that. And that's right, we're all connected.
I did notice one thing. I think I found the only animal that exists both in Australia and Canada, unless, well, beyond other, like mice and stuff, is possum.
Possums.
Possums are, yeah.
Yeah, they're everywhere. They just
How did they get everywhere?
I think because possums are marsupials, so like from a scientific perspective, possums are a quite old type of family, and they bring up their babies in a pouch, so they're an ancient type of mammal, and they were around the world, as the story goes, in every place. But then when a different type of modern mammal started to develop, they outcompeted a lot of the other marsupials, so a lot of marsupials disappeared, but possums were quite strong in the way that they have strategies to live, so they're smart omnivore critters that can compete. So in other places around the world where marsupials disappeared, possums stood their ground and they remained in ecosystems all around the world. That's from the scientific theory.
Yeah, that makes sense. I also wanted to ask if anybody else has thought this, and I don't mean to disrespect any of the constellations that have been drawn out over the sky, but I feel like if somebody asked me to draw any random thing using the stars in the sky as dots, I could probably do it. So with that being said, how did they, like, because some of these things that, I mean, like the some of the constellations, even the ones in North America, you look at them and you're like, there's no way that looks like a scorpion or two fish or whatever. stars in this. That does like even if you connect the lines, it still doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I think when you look at Australia, because our people, all our different international, indigenous peoples right across Australia, we had a similar way of thinking, and what we seen in the environment and what we seen in the stars was influenced by our cultural lens. So when we see emus running around and we look at the night sky, automatically there's an association, because the image of an emu and the culture of emu being embedded in the way people see and understand the world is reflected in what they create. So in North America, if you see a buffalo, then a culture of understanding the buffalo as a really important part of your world is then reflected in what you see, do, think, say. So, for instance, nowadays you could look at the night sky, and if the mobile phone is something that is, is a part of society and a laptop, people might reflect and say, wow, I've just seen a laptop and a mobile phone in the sky. So because of that cultural lens, people will be influenced by that and then see that in the stars. That's what I don't know, that's how I understand it anyway. It's that influence on your culture.
So in
Yeah.
1,000 years, there'll be an iPhone constellation.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yep.
And a mouse, and a mouse in the sky.
Yep. Yeah. With a left click and a right click.
Yeah.
And the mouse chases an apple across the sky.
And the apple is the sun. And every time the moon eclipses it, it's taking a bite of the apple.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then the Microsoft demon tries to attack the apple.
Yeah. That's why we came up with the constellation, the gates of hell.
That's a good one.
Oh man. My face
You can only see it from the equator.
Oh, that's funny. But true, like there's truth in that. That's what's so funny. Oh, so there you go, people. There's a glimpse into what it looks like for us traditional people down here in the Southern Hemisphere. And like even though we live in suburbia and stuff, we bring our kids up like this. My kids didn't have a clock to go out. I'd make them look up at the sky, and that would tell them what time of the day or night things were. So they had no excuse about being late. Hey,
that's why I get into trouble at work all the time. I say I'm running late because the emu in the sky is pointing downwards. It means
oh, they don't like us because of that.
Anyway, I've got to go, people. I've got to get some chores done in the house and wash and all that. But the other thing is, even though we live in urban areas, we go back on country and we're connected to country because we're connected to people and people are country. So we're always a part of each other. But anyway, have a good evening, afternoon or morning, and I'll catch you later on. Bless you all.
Thanks, John, for coming. I really appreciate it. And yeah,
Nice to meet you.
Catch you later.
Yalu.
Yalu. Yalu.
Yellow.
All right. I think that's time for beautiful things, eh? What do you reckon, Polly? It's just you and me now.
I was going to suggest that.
Yep, it's time for something beautiful after all that head information. All right, let's see what I got for you this week on beautiful things.
I don't know if I can eat an emu the same way again.
Yeah, it'll make you think different, eh?
Yeah.
But it gives you an idea how we think down here because we're looking at something totally different, you know. Where's my beautiful things? Here we go. Okay, welcome to this week's beautiful things. I hope you enjoy it. Should I put music on, Polly, or while we're looking at them?
It doesn't matter to me. I'll probably just talk over it if you do.
I might put something in the background.
Like
really
already,
Yeah.
that I bet you that cost over $1 million for that.
Over $1 million. Oh, I couldn't
The
even. I don't
geode
even
couch.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
How would you move a geode that big
with a
and then
truck?
cut it? Like how do you cut that?
It looks like it was actually outside and then they built around it.
Yeah, that's more likely.
Wow. It's awesome, eh? All right, let's have a look. I'll just clean up my stuff here. Got too many things open. All right. Where are we next? Oh, that's for you, Polly. Here, I'll make them big. There you go.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I wonder what they made that out of.
You know, some sort of building material. Mushroom, mate. Oh, I got the tip for you after this. I'll tell you, I found something you really like. Isn't it nice though? Imagine.
What if they're real mushrooms?
Oh, then you're in trouble because wouldn't it change?
Yeah, put spores everywhere too.
Yeah, it'll make a mess, man. And then you'd have someone eating it. And I had to chuck that in for Jules, but Jules had to go already. So I wonder if that house moves.
It probably does. You just don't notice it.
And I just thought that's nice. Doesn't look like it'll travel really well, but to live out of, it looks beautiful, eh? And I had to throw that in. I was hoping Donnie was here. He'd laugh his head off on that one. But
that's definitely making light of a shitty situation.
Sit down, take a chair of wisdom.
I'll bet you know what though, I would have made the beak a different shape. That looks like it would be like right at the back of my head.
Oh yeah.
Probably really uncomfortable.
You got a point there. They might not have thought of.
The chair's got a point there.
Chair of wisdom. Oh, and that was something there. That was for Jules and the lady there. Isn't that beautiful? You wouldn't want to eat it.
Yeah, that's really good work.
You wouldn't want to eat it. I've got a couple more.
That's airbrushing for sure.
Yeah. And you can get edible powdered stuff as well. I mean, there.
Oh my goodness.
Wait till you see the last one. I had to actually look at it and go, is that cake? And then I went and watched the show. Is that cake?
That must have taken forever. Holy shit.
I had to really look hard. That's cake, believe it or not. There you go, look at that.
Oh, a stained glass guitar. What a great idea.
I wouldn't want to drink out of them. Look how dainty they are. They're like fluorescent, kind of. Oh, and that's for the fellas. That was for Donnie.
That's awesome.
Oh, there's beautiful things everywhere. It's amazing. I'd like that on my desk. Yeah, I thought we'd go a bit different.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, there's beautiful things everywhere. You just got to look. Now that's my kind of style. Oh, look, I hit that cake. No, no, it's a real bike. But this is the one I like better.
Wow.
Hey.
Yeah, I wouldn't be caught dead on that. Not even on the back.
I'd ride it, but I'd ride it inside. Why would you wouldn't want to take it outside and wreck it? Hey, one stone crack, and they roses on the front are gone. And look at that, Polly. Isn't that amazing? That's a ring.
Yeah. I wonder what that's like. What's that made of?
Gold.
It's just resin, I guess.
Gold and resin, by the looks of it. Yeah. Gold and resin. Oh, there you go. Look at that.
Oh wow.
Hey. Oh yeah, I thought, wow. And it's made of wood too.
There's a
Hold
joke
up
in
there.
that car somewhere.
This one, yeah. And wouldn't that be beautiful to walk in? Oh, exquisite work. Oh, hang on, I got more.
Imagine having a space like that in your house.
I know, eh?
Well, that's a good shot.
Yeah, beautiful birds they are. Took them out of the fish.
That's a brave shot.
He says that one. Imagine the dog. I couldn't figure out, is the dog going, oh, we just get it over and done with? Whether he actually enjoying it or not.
I don't know if that's real. How can that be real?
No.
Same with that one. And I can spot where it's not real.
You're right there. Yeah. There it is.
There's no way a tiger would do that to a baby deer without biting it by the neck and breaking
Actually,
it.
Polly, I watched a documentary where it was a tiger or a lion. They actually found a baby deer and kept it alive. The first one got eaten by something else, and then he found another baby deer that was alone, kept it alive and got it back to the deer. It was like he made it his mission.
Yeah, because he knows one day it's going to be bigger and worth eating.
Put in the cupboard for later.
Yeah,
Look at that. Hey, that'd be some making. Trying to get it right in the right spot. Old way of delivering a letter.
Yeah, look how small they wrote.
Yeah, they did, eh? They had beautiful writing back then. Bit more jewelry. Oh, that's a ring. That's actually that's a clock ring.
Yeah, it's a watch.
Yeah, watch.
Kinda.
That's what they wore in the old days. It was a highly fashion thing. A seal of approval. And apparently that's made out of one piece of emerald. Hey,
Wow.
one solid piece of emerald that was made out of. It was huge. Hey, remember before how we were saying what happened to all the large pieces of emerald? Now you know.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, look at that. I thought that was beautiful. I like it.
Yeah, except the animal that came off of was probably just as beautiful. Look at the work that went into that, eh? I know. People don't make things by hand anymore.
No. That would have been hard to make. Look at them. You wouldn't want to use them.
Well, not anymore, no. But back then, things that were that well made and paid that much attention to, it was just like, well, that's just part of the deal. That's just the way it is for everything. So it wasn't really revered, you know? It was like just normal.
Yeah, true. And there's some yummy looking cakes that you don't really want to eat because they're too pretty. And I love that picture for some reason. I think it's just beautiful. No, they're looking at us going, what the?
Wow.
Hey, that was a good shot.
And they molt those every year at the antlers.
They come off?
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe not every year, but I know they molt them. So imagine finding those. That'd be great.
And there's that chair again. And that's all I got for you for beautiful things this week. Hey?
That's an insane couch.
Yeah, isn't it beautiful? Hey? You wouldn't want to fall over on them tables, but you'd come out the worst. So, all right. And then we got, we're only got an hour show. It's really short. The word of the week, Polly. Where are we? Hang on, I'll just find us.
Oh, yeah. What was that again? I'm so lazy.
Oh,
I didn't even look that up. I got distracted. That's why.
There it is. I hope this was to your satisfaction. And after the last 2 words that we had in the last 2 weeks, that was funny to get. Satisfaction. What's that song? No, that's no satisfaction. That's just satisfaction.
That's the only one I can think of.
I don't think there is another one.
I blame my culture.
There's a satisfy. There's something about satisfy. Satisfaction. We're gonna go have a quick break in a minute. What have I got? Rest of it. That was quick. We went through all that pretty quick. Oh yeah. What have we got? I've got a ghost story from Berrima, which is another Australian place. And yeah, I might do the ghost story from Berrima. If that's satisfactory. What is a satisfactory? A place that churns out satisfaction?
Yeah.
Eh? It's a factory that turns out satisfaction. Satisfactory.
The first reference I got was it as a noun from the 14th century. And I'm just reading what it says here in quotations. Performance by a penitent of an act set forth by a priest or other church authority to atone for sin.
Ooh.
From the Old French satisfaction, and that's from the 12th century, and from Latin satisfactionem. Oh, just add an M to Latin. And a satisfying of a creditor, noun of action from past participle stem of satisfactory. I guess that's how you pronounce it. And then in quotation again, discharge, fully, comply with, make amends, literally to do enough. See, satisfy.
Oh, that's a different look on it. What? You kind of think it will, if you think it is.
A sense of action or gratifying, which implies an appetite or desire for. And then when you go down to satisfy, it's like do penance, appease,
Yeah, right.
fulfill, satiate. Yeah, make amends, literally do enough.
Okay. So in that song, no satisfaction, does that mean he can't do enough?
Depends on what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the Rolling Stones were probably talking about something else.
I think so. I don't want to think about that.
Maybe that's why he wants to paint the red door black.
Oh,
Because he can't get no satisfaction.
yeah. Talking about black. Hey, on the Clipsy thing, there's words going around about the black sun, and people reckon that up there, some people saw the moon over here, and then the eclipse was happening there, and they were going, "That's not the moon." Is that true? Oh, you had clouds, you wouldn't know, would you?
I did have clouds, but I did check with the app that I have that it kind of shows you where everything is in the sky, whether it's cloudy or not, and I can point it literally down. So it'll shoot right through the earth, and I can literally look at the southern hemisphere with this app and like
Wow.
tilt my phone around, and it kind of moves. But I don't think it's dialed in perfectly. So I think maybe a lot of the people that are saying that they saw this were maybe using an app like that, and it wasn't just like it just wasn't. It kind of lags, like it buffers, kind of, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So it takes a while to update sometimes.
How do you know you're seeing?
I don't. I mean, there's really, yeah, I get it, but it's what I use, and most of the time when I use it, I look at the sky and it's right. So, I mean, it's never been really that far off. It's been off by a few degrees here and there, But as far as placements goes, like where should Mars be? Where is the moon? Where is the sun? Where is Venus? Other obvious points of light in the sky for the northern hemisphere. I can verify it with my own eyes, and it's usually pretty close.
Cool.
But it doesn't show the second sun.
Yeah, the black hole sun. Hey, that's not satisfactory.
I've seen footage of it. I've seen footage. There's footage of it out there.
Don't they reckon, from my understanding, so you got a flat Earth in the middle, the North Pole, there's a hole, and there's a black sun there, and it reflects back up or something like that. That's what
or we just live in a binary.
Oh, it's all a dream, and they're going to unplug us, and we'll get up and go, wow, that was a good game. It was so real.
Or there's another theory that the second sun is actually the first sun, and the sun that we see is the reflection of that through the firmament.
The layers of the firmament, yeah, that's what I think.
Like a magnifying glass almost.
Yeah, because it is, sometimes you look up and it is like that. It's like these different layers of glass, and you're seeing little fractals on the way if you have a good look.
Yeah, there's yeah.
Because
it's interesting. There's video footage of a guy filming the second sun with a solar telescope. He's like, what is this? Some kind of reflection? So he puts a cardboard tube over the lens so that it can't be a reflection and you can still see it.
There you go.
And it's smaller and it's red.
Oh, right.
And we can't see it with the naked eye because our sun's too bright.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, I've got something for you, Polly. I just remembered. You're going to like this. I just got to find it. It's in my list. Hang on. Actually, before I show you that, I've got a man discovers metal beams holding up under the dome. Let's check that out. Hang on, I'll stop the fire for a second. Share this tab. Hang on. Oh.
7th closed Antarctic expedition in 2002. When I was included in a research group that was heading inland, the driver of their car got sick, and I replaced him. Before starting the trip, the head of the expedition instructed me and forced me to sign a non-disclosure agreement. He told me to forget everything I was taught in school, that the Earth is a sphere. It is flat as your frying pan, and we are on the edge of it. Everything is covered with a dome. Don't tell anyone about what you'll see there in the ice. We were also prohibited from taking photos or making videos there. We drove south for 6 days until we reached a wide river with unfrozen water. The head of the group forbade touching the water, saying that there was radiation. But what was on the other side of the river gave me goosebumps. There was a massive metal support about 2 kilometers high. The leader said that such supports are installed around the Earth every 53 kilometers. Supporting the dome? What dome? I asked. Watch carefully, he said. Indeed, if you look closely, you can see that the sky looks like glass or blue plastic. And from time to time, fireballs flew by, rapidly soaring up the surface of the dome. I pretended to go to the toilet and slid behind an ice floe. I started shooting on an old hidden mobile phone. However, the phone was old and the camera was bad. This is what I managed to capture. Now skeptics probably can't wait to print comments.
Oh, it's a fake, an old phone, a bad...
There you go. That was just something quick, and I've got something else for you. Hang on.
But wait, I gotta say something about that one.
Yep.
And that is that the footage that he took with his phone with the bad camera was taken from something that was traveling quite quickly, probably
Yep.
airborne,
Yep.
like a plane or a helicopter or something. So how do you sneak off to go to the bathroom and take footage like that?
You can't because you're flying.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
So he's busted. So it's clearly it's not real.
All right, this one is, but check this out.
And I'll bet you the skeptics here don't even pick up on that.
Probably not. This is real. Remember, if you're never sure, you go back to nature, tell you what's real and what ain't. I think you told me about this before. Oh, sounds like dinner.
Oh, is he making a torch?
Yep.
I didn't see what mushroom that was. I've never seen this before. That's cool.
Oh, you know the ones that stick out the side of logs?
Yeah, it's some
Show
kind
you.
of polypore, probably.
See them ones?
Or like a conch mushroom of some kind.
I don't know what they're called, but I do recognise them.
Yeah, we have similar. That one's huge, though. I mean, wow.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is really, really huge. Eh? It's like wood. And I've got something funny. Let's do something funny. I've got to really show you today. Where are they? Oh, that is a really good idea, though. You don't know.
It's super cool that you put on something to do with mushrooms because actually Paul Stamets was on Joe Rogan, I think yesterday, for like 2.5 hours, and that's all they talk about is mushrooms. It's freaking great.
Shrooms. It's just shrooms. All right, check this one out.
Have you heard of the new sport called quiet tennis? It's like normal tennis, but without the racket. Why did the god of thunder need to stretch his leg muscles? He was a little Thor. Why do I see Mike Tyson saying that? No, kid. Oh, looks like half a tree. The other half. I'm going home. Have you heard of the...
Oh,
Those guys are priceless.
Oh, isn't that funny, eh? Hang on, I'll put the fire back on. All right, that's all I got for you. I got more stuff, but I'm going to save it for next time. Where's my fire? I'll put the fire on. So, Polly, did you enjoy what I put on today?
Yeah, tons of. As always, I keep learning stuff every time I come here.
Cool. I like to keep it fun and interesting. Sometimes it's late for people. I understand that. And daylight savings changed here. Again, we're back to normal time. So I don't know what it makes time in up your end. But,
so you went forward an hour?
No, we finished. So we went backward.
Oh.
To normal time. We went back an hour.
Jesus.
So
okay, maybe time is a human construct because we've made it really confusing, haven't we?
It is very confusing. It's not satisfactory.
It's less than satisfactory.
Can't get no satisfaction.
Actually, it's dissatisfactory.
It is dissatisfactory. How many satisfactory words are there? Satisfactory. You know, like how many words of this word is there? Satisfaction, satisfactory, satisfaction, satisfied.
I wonder how the word factory ties into satisfactory, though. That's
they built a factory that makes satisfaction.
It does just enough. The factory does just enough. like build Boeing airplanes. Just
Yeah.
Just-
They pump it out. The
yeah.
crowds are getting restless. Pump some satisfaction out.
You're not wrong.
We're just being silly now. Yeah. What else have I got? I'll tell you something, so I don't have to pull up any papers. You know how I do the Elders Olympics every year? And for those that you don't know, here in Australia, they're not like the Olympics that you have in the world. They're Elders Olympics and they're traditional Aboriginal Elders Olympics. So we do different games and they're real simple, obviously. But the place we're going this year, I ran into a younger sister, Aboriginal sister, and her mob come from there. You know what she told me? Oh, we don't go out camping when we're up there. And I'm like, why not? Oh, no, too many hairy men up there. We go and get a hotel room. And I'm like, what? So I'm looking forward to going up there. I'm going to get my little spyglass out and climb to the highest point I can and see what I can see. You never know. I'm not going too close there.
Make sure you bring your really bad phone with your really bad camera.
Yeah, right, and shake a lot. Make sure I'm shaking. And when it runs that way, I go that way and then go back that way, right?
I don't know. I'm starting to think maybe like Mitch Hedberg was right when he said, like, you know, when you see footage of Bigfoot, it's always blurry and whatever. Well, maybe Bigfoot is blurry.
Yeah.
Like in real life, he just looks blurry.
Yeah.
And maybe some of these people in real life are just blurry. You just can't photograph them. They're because they're only partially in this dimension.
Well, I remember once I saw this fella. I could see everybody else around this person perfectly fine. Every time I looked at this bloke, he had no face, right? And at first I thought it was my eyes. I'm thinking, oh, I'm going blurry in the eyes, right? The eyes are blurry. And then I'm thinking, well, if they're that blurry, how come I can see their face and I can't see his? And it dawned on me, and I just went, okay, there's people with blurry faces. What do you say? It was weird. Oh, I had a lot of weird stuff happen. That was weird.
I would ask somebody to borrow their glasses and ask the person with the blurry face, here, can you wear these for a second?
So I can see you better. That's a good one. So we're nearly at an hour and a half, and we might go after that because I haven't got much this week, and everyone had places to be this week. Next week I'm going to be in a different location. I'll see how I'll go. I'll set everything at home and hope that my little laptop works. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, because I've got something interesting stuff for next week. And before I'll say hello to everyone in the chat room while I'm sitting here doing nothing. Polly, I'm bad for that. You're supposed to tap me on the head and go, hey, there's other people here.
Oh, I thought I was the one that was supposed to do nothing.
Yeah. All right, so we got Joe. Always we got Joe. We love you. Did you see our We Love You Joe sign? We got a We Love You Joe sign now. Sid was in earlier. These are all the people that have dropped in through the show. Future Use. Who else? We got Megaphone Man. How you going, my brother? We got Ken. Hey, Ken, how you doing, bro? Could have jumped in, you know. I got the thing at the top. Anyway, we're going now. Typical Aussie, that was you. We got Rusty Shackelford. G'day. Who else we got? There's a long list here. Truth Cafe. G'day. How you mob going? All right. And we got D. G'day, D. Thanks for coming. All right. So, yeah, next week. We'll see you next week.
D's from Ontario.
Yeah, that's up near you, eh, Polly?
Yeah, I'm in Ontario.
Yeah. Hey, I'd laugh if you were only up the road.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
That happened to me once.
Hey,
I had
D.
a friend for a really, really long time, and out of the blue, I just had this urge to ring them. And back then, we had phone books, right, and normal phones. So I go through the phone book, and I found their name, and I rang them, and I'm like, "Hey, where are you at?" They live around the corner. So I said, "Hang on, I'll be and I just hung up and walked around the corner. It was really funny. I hadn't seen them for years, wondering where they were. They were living around the corner the whole time. Yeah. So Dee might live near you. There you go. So,
that'd be hilarious.
Yeah. And Dee, if you want to listen to some of Polly's stuff, you get over to IBM Radio. Is that correct, Polly?
Yeah, Independent Broadcast Network or freeworld.fm from 2 to 5 Eastern Time.
There you go. You can check out Polly's stuff over there.
On Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big 420 show.
Oh, that's right. That's coming up.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be the whole weekend.
Can you educate me on why it's called that?
I will at the show.
Okay. Good. I need some education on that.
That's a good idea. I didn't even think of doing that because most people are just going to know, but I should probably explain that.
Yeah, I don't know. Us Southerners down here, we saw our star, what we see in the stars. How are we going to know about something like that?
I've heard 2 different versions, and so I'll bring both of them.
Oh, okay, cool. So look out for that. Polly stuff.
But tomorrow's just a random show.
Just a random show. Is that about randomness?
Well, it's maple season.
Oh, maple syrup. Oh, I love maple syrup.
Yeah, so I gotta probably do something so my country stays happy with me.
Yeah, we don't have it.
Probably talk about how boring the eclipse was.
Told you it'd be boring.
It was almost as anticlimactic as I am.
I like this show. I like this show. No. But yeah, I told you last week, don't expect anything spectacular. Everything will go on as normal. If anything, you just feel this stuff in the air, which we felt down here in the south. But I think that was from the earthquakes and all that. And I think volcanoes popped off somewhere. But that's what we'll be looking at next week too. There's a certain animal, a fish that comes up out of the water when there's volcanoes and earthquakes and all that happen. So we're going to take a look at this fish next week. Not
cool.
Very exciting, but it is and it was in the Bible, this fish. So I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. So we're going to have a look at that and whatever else I can dig up. I might even have another guest for us. I can pull our guest out of. I'll tell you, our mob are really shy. That's why I get a hard time trying to get anyone from our mob up here. They get real shy, but I finally found one, and hopefully they'll join us next week. Besides John, of course. John's been on the show a few times. So, yeah, I finally found one. This is a female, Rachel, her name is. So we'll see how we go. So, all right. Anything else you want to add, Polly? We've done our word. We've done beautiful things.
Yeah, no, I think we can wrap it up. Yeah, that was a lot crammed into that time. Show. I'm still wrapping my head around the emu stuff in the sky, and yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we can always go back to that. I do. If I find someone from another mob that has different stories that you've heard today, I'll ask them for information and we'll have another look at it because some of the stories are really cool, how they come about, seeing what they saw. So, all right, we're going to wrap it up there and love to you on this day. Stay centered, stay deadly, stay strong. Creator loves you, and tomorrow's going to be a beautiful day because there's beautiful things everywhere, and we'll go out with some music. If I can find my... Oh, here we are. We're going to rock it out again. And Yalu, we'll see you next week.
Stay bright, too.
Yeah, keep shining, everyone. Please me rock music. Here it is. Rock it out. Yalu, we'll see you next week.
Yalu.
And I hope you find some sort of satisfaction.